just kept quiet and accepted it. Those words had been my prayer for 32 years of marriage to Robert. When I looked at me across the breakfast table each morning, I saw a good man. A faithful man. A man who had worked hard at the factory, who had provided for our 3 children, who had never raised his voice or his hand to me. And if there wasn't passion anymore, well, wasn't that just the way of long marriages? Comfort replacing fire, routine replacing romance. I was 58 years old, and I had made my peace with it. That Tuesday afternoon in March, I was carrying groceries from the car when I heard laughter coming from inside our house. Robert's laugh, but different somehow, lighter, younger. I hadn't heard that sound in years. I pushed open the door with my hip, bags balanced in both arms, and stopped in the doorway of our living room. Robert was sitting on our old green sofa, the one we'd bought when the kids were small. Beside him sat a woman I didn't know. She was younger than me, perhaps in her early 50s, with auburn hair that caught the afternoon light streaming through our windows. She wore a cream-colored dress, elegant but simple. And she was laughing at something Robert had said, her hand resting gently on his arm. They both looked up when he entered. The woman's face showed surprise, then something else. Confusion, perhaps. Robert's face went pale. "Dorothy," I said, standing quickly. "I didn't hear you come in." I set the groceries down on the coffee table, my hands suddenly feeling very far away from my body. "I can see that," I said quietly. The woman stood too, smoothing her dress. She looked at Robert, then at me, and I watched something dawn in her eyes. A terrible understanding. "Robert," she said, her voice unsteady. "Who is this?" I opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. "Helen, this is Dorothy." This is Dorothy." Helen took a step back. "You're Dorothy." "But you said." She turned to look at me fully now, and I saw tears forming in her eyes. "You said Dorothy had passed away. 3 years ago. You showed me pictures of the memorial service." The room tilted slightly. I reached for the arm of the chair beside me. Robert's face crumbled. "Helen, I can explain." But Helen was looking at me now, and in her eyes I saw something I hadn't expected. Not anger, not triumph, just horror and sadness and shame. "I'm so sorry," she whispered to me. "I didn't know. I would never. I'm not that kind of woman. I thought you were gone. I thought I was helping him heal." Her voice broke. "I'm so sorry." She grabbed her purse from the sofa and moved toward the door. Robert reached for her arm, but she pulled away. "Don't," she said. "Don't touch me. You lied to me. You lied to her. You've been lying to everyone." The front door closed softly behind her. Not a slam, just a quiet, final click. Robert and I stood in our living room, surrounded by 32 years of shared life. The photos on the wall of our children at various ages. The Afghan his mother had crocheted for us as a wedding gift. The scratch on the hardwood floor where we dropped a lamp during an argument about money back in 1998. "Dorothy, a vegan." I held up my hand. "Don't," I said. "Not yet. I need to sit down." I lowered myself into my chair, the one I'd sat in every evening to read while I watched television. I remained standing, his hands hanging useless at his sides. "How long?" I asked. 6 months. 6 months. Half a year of lies. Of him telling this woman I was dead. Dead. As if I could simply erase me from existence to make room for something new. "Why?" The word came out smaller than I intended. I sank onto the sofa, his head in his hands. When I finally spoke, his voice was thick with tears. "Because I felt invisible," I said. "We've become invisible to each other, Dorothy. When was the last time we really talked? Really looked at each other? We're just two people sharing a house, sharing a routine. But we're not sharing a life anymore." I wanted to argue, to defend us, to defend me. But the words stuck in my throat because somewhere deep inside, I knew I wasn't entirely wrong. When had I stopped seeing him? When had I become just another piece of furniture in my comfortable life? "That doesn't give you the right to kill me off," I said quietly. "I know." He looked up at me, and his eyes were red. "I know. It was wrong. All of it was wrong. I wanted to feel alive again. I wanted someone to look at me like I mattered. Like I was interesting. Like I was still someone. We sat in silence. Outside, I could hear Mrs. Patterson's wind chimes next door, the same ones that had annoyed me for 15 years. Funny how you notice small things in big moments. I saw her face, I said finally. Helen, she didn't know, Robert. She's a victim in this too. I nodded miserably. She seemed kind, I continued. The way she apologized to me. The way she left rather than fight. That took grace. She is kind, I whispered. She volunteers at the library. She likes old movies and crossword puzzles and takes her coffee with too much sugar. I felt a strange pang in my chest. Not jealousy exactly, something more complicated. I knew these things about her. When was the last time I'd noticed anything new about me? Do you love her? I asked. He was quiet for a long time. I don't know, I finally said. I thought maybe I could. But it was all built on a lie, wasn't it? So what was real and what wasn't? I stood up slowly, my knees protesting the movement. I walked to the window and looked out at our street. Our neighbors' houses, the maple tree we'd planted when our youngest was born, now towering over the yard. I've been accepting things for a long time, Robert, I said. Accepting that passion fades, accepting that comfort is enough, accepting that this is just what marriage becomes. But I don't want to accept this. Not a lie this big. Not being erased. What do you want, Dorothy? I turned to look at him. Really look at him. I saw the gray in his hair, the deepening lines around his eyes. But I also saw something I'd forgotten was there. Loneliness, fear, a desperate hunger to matter. I want us to try, I said. Not to go back to what we were. That's gone. But to find out if there's something new we could be. Together. Not invisible, not just routine, really together. I stood up, hope and uncertainty worrying on his face. You'd be willing to try. After what he did, I'm not saying I forgive you, I said carefully. Not yet, maybe not for a long time. But I'm saying I understand how we got here. Both of us, and if you're willing to do the hard work of rebuilding trust, of really showing up for this marriage, then maybe we can find our way to something true. Tears rolled down his cheeks. I don't deserve you. No, I agreed. Right now, you don't. But maybe you will again. Maybe we'll both deserve each other again. I took a tentative step toward me. I didn't move away, but I didn't move closer either. There would be time for that. Or there wouldn't, but at least we would know we tried. I'm sorry, I said. I'm so deeply sorry, Dorothy. I nodded. I know. And Robert, I'm sorry too, for letting us become invisible to each other. For accepting less than we deserved. Outside, the afternoon light was fading to gold. There would be difficult conversations ahead. Tears and anger and doubt. But there would also be honesty. Real honesty. And maybe, if we were lucky and brave enough, there would be love again too. Not the easy love of young passion, but the harder, more valuable love of two people who choose each other with clear eyes and open hearts. I just kept quiet and accepted it, I had said for so many years. But not anymore, not anymore.